Denial of service. Now, denial of service means what? What is denial of service? In servers, when we have servers that means file server, mail server, web server, database server. Why they call server? Why they call server? Because they serve the services. Web server serve web services, it is called web server. Database servers serve the database services, that is why it is called database server. Mail server serve the mail services, it is called mail servers. Now, what is denial of service? It is actually denying that server to provide the services. So when we deny the web server to provide the web services, that means we are doing the denial of service attack. Web servers are designed to provide the web services, and if suppose I stop that web server to provide the services, that means provide the web services, that means I am doing the denial of service attack. It is called denial of service attack, DOS, and is an attack on a computer or network that reduce and restrict or prevent the accessibility of the system resources to its legitimate user. That means the legitimate user who are authenticated or legitimate to access that server, we are stopping those servers, stopping those users to access them, or reducing and restricting them, or preventing them. That means we are preventing the server to provide the securities, provide the services. Now in DOS attack, attackers flood a victim system with non-legitimate service request or traffic to overload its resources. And it is very simple to do this. Very simple. What the user, the attacker do, it sends lots of non-legitimate requests of services to overload the traffic, overload the resources of the server. And this DOS attack leads to unavailability of a particular website and slow network performance. That means attacker do what? It sends a lots of unlegitimate traffic so that it will fulfill all the bandwidth, available bandwidth, and all the resources available on the server. So when the normal user or regular user try to access it, it will see that no, you can't access, or you see the site is down, slow, or you will see the slow network performance. And this is called denial of service attack. Now, when you say that I will fulfill the user, I will send the lots of requests or service requests to a server, to that server is not able to process those services, process those requests. But there is a problem here. There is a small problem here. Nowadays servers are very strong. Servers are very strong. They use a very big bandwidth also. They use a lots of they use a strong big bandwidth, we can say, like it is using, the servers are using 10 Mbps, 20 Mbps, 1 Mbps. So they are using those bandwidth, and also those servers are very powerful nowadays. Even the organizations use clustering also. They use multiple servers to do the single job. That means for hosting a single website, because it is a famous website or busy website, they want it to be available. They wanted that website to be available every time. So they do what? They create cluster nodes. That means they configure not only one server, they configure 2, 3, 4 servers to hold only the one site. Only the one site. That means if one server goes down, or if one server for doing the load balancing, and we can say redundancy and load balancing. Load balancing, that means redundancy, that means if one server goes down, then other server will respond with about from in place of that server, and site will always run. Then they will do it for load balancing. Now load balancing, that means if the server get more than the load which regular comes, then still they can handle the load, because there are multiple servers which is handling the request. Now if you try to make server down by sending the traffic, like you want to send, you have to send the traffic as much as traffic that server is not able to handle. Now suppose, for example, your taking you're sitting on your home, you're using your connection, you're using your internet, and now how much fast internet you will get. Let's say you get 1 mbps link, you may get 2 mbps link, you get suppose you're using 4G connection, you are getting 4 mbps, or you're getting 2 mbps, 25 mbps maximum, up to you will go 10 to 20 mbps. Now the organizations which is holding those servers, they can go more than you. Now suppose you are having 1 mbps link, and the server which you want to make down, that server is using 10 mbps. Now no matter how much request you send from your system, it will go not more than 1 mbps, but the server can handle 10 mbps. It can handle the request up to 10 mbps, and you can send up to only 1 mbps. Now how you will make that server down? It is not possible for you to make it down. Now that in that case, what we do, what attacker do the distributed denial of service attack. So this distributed denial of service attack involves a multitude of compromised system attacking a single target, thereby causing a denial of service for user of the targeted system. That means what it do here, because I am having only I'm the attacker, I am having only 1 mbps link. So no matter how much speed or how much request I will send, I will not able to go to more than 1 mbps, and the server is having 10 mbps. Now what if I do arrange 100 of different machines, from the different location, and they are all having 1 mbps link. Now my site, it will become 100 mbps, and the server is now having 10 mbps. So now what, in my side who's sending the request, it becomes 100 mbps. So I will force those users to send this single target. I will set those all 100 hosts, different hosts with 1 mbps. I will say them to attack a single target at the same time. So the attack will be on 100 mbps, and the server is only able to handle the request of 10 mbps. Now in this case, definitely that server will get down. So if it is not possible to down the server by using the normal denial of service, then we can use the distributed denial of service attack. And to launch a distributed denial of service attack, an attacker uses the botnets and attack a single system. So to get all these multiple machines from the different location, they will not do it by themselves. So what attacker do? Attacker use these machines, use the Trojan horses to infect those system and create and make those system as a botnet. Now botnet, that means those machines don't know what is happening in that machine. They don't know. They don't even know, because the Trojan is working in behind the scene, and Trojan, when the attacker sends the request to attack on a site or attack on a single system, that botnet machines will do what? It will do attack on that single system without knowing of the owner. Like owner of the machine will not know that what is happening in the background. Those Trojan viruses, those botnets do what? They do attack. And the impact of this is very bad. When the server goes down, then loss of goodwill, disable network, financial loss, disable of the organization also. If suppose the site is of online retailer site, their whole business is depend on the site which is running. If the site is not running, that means they don't have any business. So when the site goes down, so what? They lose the business, they lose the finance, they lose the money, they get the financial loss, they get the loss of goodwill also, because when a site is not working, everyone will say like, why the site is not working? It is not that good, it is slow, because of the so much traffic, it gets slow and something. This type of attack you may have seen or you may have faced when you see that universally results comes online. When the university or result come online, So every student from the different side try to get the result, and when they try to get the result from the different location from the internet, so those university servers are not that good to handle those requests, so they goes down. And whenever the students try to access, it says site is down, site is not reachable, and so on. It is like unknowingly doing the distributed denial of service attack. It is just an example, and maybe you have seen it, you have faced it also. Now, how distributed denial of service attack works? So very simple. Attacker do what? It sends the Trojan viruses to different machines and compromise those machines and make them as a zombie. Now zombie means they don't know what is happening to them, and they do what? They do whatever the attacker says. So when they infected with the Trojan, they become botnet, and they report the botnet. These botnets report to the handler. Handler is what? On the attacker system. Then attacker system on from the attacker system, from the handler, attacker will send the instruction that do access this site or do send the request to the system, a single system. Now all these botnets, all these zombie PCs do what? They at the same time they try to do the attack, try to send the service request to the single target, and then the target is not able to handle that much request, and it can go down. Now basic categories of this DOS or DDoS attack vector is like volumetric attack, that means consume the bandwidth of target network or service. You will try to consume the whole bandwidth available. Then we have fragmentation attack, like overwhelming target ability of resembling the fragments packet. That means overwhelming the target's ability to resemble the fragment packets. Fragment packets, that means whenever the data sends on TCP port, it do fragmented, and in transport layer it is fragmented and then join the packet on the destination. So we'll try to send different fragments of packets, lots of fragments of packet that it cannot able to resemble them. TCP state exhausting attack. In this, attacker try to consume the connection state table present in the network's infrastructure components such as load balancer, firewalls, and application servers. TCP, when we do the TCP connection, it establishes the connection. So when you send a TCP service request, like for any protocol which is using the TCP, so it sends the TCP request first to establish the connection, three-way handshake. And then when it sends when it gets the request for three-way handshake, it is a table for the TCP there, which has the information about how much sync requests have come and how much acknowledgement have come. Now what? The attacker try to consume all the connection state tables present in the network infrastructure components such as load balancer, firewall, application. That means it will send lots of sync TCP sync requests to those component. So they get the sync request, they respond with the sync ACK, but then the ACK will not come to finish the three-way handshake, and they will keep waiting. The destination, the component, the infrastructure, these component machines, these servers, application servers or these servers, they will wait for the connection to establish, and those connection will open. It is only waiting and waiting, and the attacker machine never sends the acknowledgement. It only sends the TCP sync. So it will fulfill the table of that machines, these infrastructure components, and they do what? They go down. They get slow, and they go down. Application layer attack. This means what? Consume the application resources or service, thereby making it unavailable to other legitimate users. So if suppose this is the web server, and there is a web application configure on that web server, so try to send as much as request for that services that service is not able to handle, that application is not able to handle, or it will allocate all the resources to that service, that request, so that other users, which is legitimate user, is not able to process the request for that legitimate users. So when we say the bandwidth attack, which is what volumetric attack, bandwidth attack, that means a single machine cannot make enough requests to overwhelm the network equipment. Remember what I said, single machine is not able to do that. Hence the DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack, were created, and where an attacker uses several computers to flood a victim. When a DDoS attack is launched, flooding a network, it can cause network equipment such as switches and routers to be overwhelmed due to the significant statistical change in the network traffic. Attacker uses botnets and carry out DDoS attacks by flooding the network with ICMP echo request. So it can do this by using the botnet. Single machine is not possible to overwhelm the network. So it do what? It sends the echo request of ping by using the different botnet to consume the whole bandwidth of the network. Then basically all bandwidth is used, no bandwidth remains for legitimate users. Then service request flood. In this, an attacker or group of zombies attacks to exhaust the server resources by setting up and tearing down the TCP connection. So they just setting up the connection, tearing down the connection. Service request flood attack flood servers with the high rate of connection from a valid source. Now the attacker uses the valid source. It looks like a valid because they are using the zombie machines, botnets. They are from the different part from the world. They may be from the different region, different part. So the server feel like it is a legitimate traffic. It initiate a request on every connection, and it do what? Sync attack. So the TCP is what? Using the sync attack. The attacker sends a large number of sync requests to target server with fake source IP addresses. The target machine sends back a sync ACK. This is what? The three-way handshake. So when you get the sync, server will send the sync ACK in response to the request, and wait for the acknowledgement to complete the session setup. So for when it comes the sync, then the server will send the sync ACK and wait for the acknowledgement to come to complete the three-way handshake. But the target machine does not get the response because of the source address is fake. Remember, because the attacker is using the source address fake, so the sync ACK which server is sending, it will go to the fake site, a fake machine, a fake IP, and that machine will never send the reply. It will not send the acknowledgement because that machine has not sent the sync packet. Now this attack exploits the three-way handshake method. So it is called what? Sync flooding. This means sync flooding take advantage of a flow in a host, in how most hosts implement in the TCP three-way handshake. So what it do here, in this image we can see, it sends the host A will send the sync request to host B, normal connection establishment. It is saying that hello, I want to do the connection, and using the source address as a fake. Then it will do the user machine, the B machine, the victim machine send the sync ACK. Now because the source address is fake, this sync ACK will go to some other IP, which IP the attacker has used. Then it must send the ACK, but because it is not sending the ACK, because the source the sync ACK is going to some other machine, that other machine will never send the ACK to complete the establishment. So what happened here, attacker do send only sync packets to flood the victim machine. This is the complete three-way handshake, but attacker will not do the three-way handshake. It will send only sync, and the victim machine send the sync ACK, but never gets the acknowledgement to complete the three-way handshake. So the victim listen queues is quickly filled up, listen queues for the TCP, and this ability of holding up each complete connection for 75 seconds can be cumulative user denial of service attack. Now remember, when a B receives the sync request from A, it must keep track of the partially open connection in a listen queue for at least 75 seconds. That means when it gets the sync here and the victim machine send the sync ACK and then it has to wait for the ACK for at least 75 seconds. Now it is not getting the sync, this is not, it will not get the ACK, instead it will get only sync, and every sync which is this victim get, it has to wait for 75 seconds for every sync packet which is get. Now after sending the sync ACK, it has to wait for the acknowledgement for next 75 seconds, but it is getting sync. Now it will fulfill the quickly it will fill the listen queue of the victim machine, because it is waiting for every sync, it is waiting for 75 seconds, which is it is not getting any reply, it is only getting next sync. So this ability of holding up each complete session for 75 seconds can be cumulative used a denial of service attack. So it puts the TCP table here for the listen queue in the victim machine, and then it will not able to listen for the valid sync from the valid host, and it will go down. Now valid host will try to access it, it will say that this is not working. Now there is one more technique for the denial of service, it is called peer-to-peer attack. This using peer-to-peer attacks, attacker do what? It instruct the client of peer-to-peer file sharing hubs to disconnect from their peer-to-peer network and to connect to the victim's fake website. So actually peer-to-peer connection, that means we can say it is like a work group where these different machines are connected together to share some resources, share some data. We can say like in Windows 10 we have home group where they don't need to have an authentication, they can get the access of the different users file from the local network or even from the internet also. It is like we have a DC++, or there are some software which uses this DC++ protocol, direct connect, to connect the hub like network. So attacker do what? It will disconnect these users from their own peer-to-peer connection and connect them to the victim site which it wants to attack. So instead of zombie, now for this it does not need zombie. These machines which is in the peer-to-peer connection, they will act like a zombie and they will attack on that victim's website. So attacker exploit the flows found in the network share using DC++ DC connect protocol that is used for sharing all types of files between instant messaging clients. So for the instant messaging client, it will use that flow in the network, flow in the design, and it will use those machines as a zombie. Using this method, attacker launched massive denial of service attack and compromised website. So using these peer-to-peer machines as a zombie and launch an attack on a site or single system and make a denial of service attack on them. Then we have also the technique for permanent denial of service attack. This permanent denial of service attack, also known as flashing. Flashing refers to attack that cause irreversible damage to system hardware. Unlike the DOS attack, it is like sabotage the system hardware, requiring the victim to replace or reinstall the hardware. This attack is carried out using a method known as breaking a system. Using this method, attackers send fraudulent hardware updates to the victims. So basically what it do, it try to do the harm for the hardware directly so that it will do the permanent damage. It can do by using the fake updates of hardware. When you get the hardware update, like your device update of update for your video device, update for your voice device, update for your network device, so attacker do what? It creates a fake update file and it sends it through the other sources. Like it is not from the genuine sources, it will send it through the IRC chat, or it will send it through the tweet, mail, or some fraudulent websites. So if you not download the drivers or update drivers for the hardware from the genuine site, that means you are in the risk. So that could be a fake or harmful updates. So attacker sends those fake and harmful update to the victim. When update install the updates, then what? It corrupts the hardware. Or it can even get the access of that victim machine to the attacker. Or it can do permanently damage the hardware and then you will not able to recover the hardware. Application level flood attack. This techniques attack the this technique has it is called application level flood attack. Now in this application level flood attack result in a loss of service of the particular network, such as email, network resources, the temporary causing seizing of application and services and more. Using this attack, attacker exploit weakness in programming source code to prevent the application from processing legitimate requests. So, using this application level flood attacks, attacker attempts to flood the web application to legitimate user traffic and disrupt the service to a specific system or person, for example, blocking a user accessing access by repeating invalid login attempts. Jam the application database connection by crafting malicious SQL queries. So it can do what? First, it can send the lots of legitimate traffic to the server, so that other legitimate user is not able to access the same site. It can do also this, like it can block the user by accessing, like provide the attacker don't know the password of that user, so it will do what? It will try to use fake fake wrong password with that username, user ID. It will try lots of time fake try lots of fake bad passwords or wrong passwords. Then the account for that user will be locked. Just like Facebook, on Facebook it will support, it will allow only 20 failed attempts. So what if I know the email address of yours which you have used on the Facebook site? So I will do what? I will go to Facebook server and use your email as a user ID and wrong password. I will give wrong password more than 20-30 times, and then what? Your account will be locked. Now when you go and try to access your own account, it will not allow you to log in also. It will say that your account is locked. Now you have to follow this procedure to unlock your account. It can also jam the application database connection by crafting SQL queries, malicious queries. Try to send the malicious queries to the server. That query will run on the database server, and the database server may get corrupted. Now that query will run on database server because the application developer has not designed the application properly. So it can be used the programming, so exploit the weaknesses of the programming source code also. HTTP GET POST and Solaris attack. Now HTTP GET and POST. Now remember, when you access any site, so first your browser sends the GET request to get the data from the web server. And when you fill any form, when you fill a logging form or any other form of information, then when you post it, so actually your browser is sending the POST request. So basically your browser send two requests: GET to get the data from web server, and POST to post the data to your web server. So in this attack, what attacker do here, in HTTP clients such as what web browser etc. connect to a web server through HTTP protocol to send HTTP requests. These requests can be either GET or POST requests. So in HTTP GET attack, the attacker use time delayed HTTP header to fold on HTTP connection and exhaust the web server resources. That means attacker will do what? It will send the HTTP GET request with time delayed HTTP header. Time delayed, that means it will send it to reply in different time. The target server waiting for the complete header. Now it will wait for the header to complete because it wants to send the reply, and it will not get any complete header. It will send only the request, and the server will what? It will get exhausted. And in post HTTP post attack, the attacker sends the HTTP request with complete header. But incomplete message body to the target web server or application, making the server wait for the rest of the message body. So it will send the post request, but there is no posting message, like there is no data to post. It is now server is waiting for the rest of the data to come, and it will keep waiting, and never get the reply, never get the whole or a complete packet. Then in Solaris attack, this is in the Solaris attack, the attacker sends partial HTTP request to the target web server or application. And upon receiving the partial HTTP request, the target server opens multiple open connections and keeps waiting for the request to complete, and this request will not be complete, and as a result the target server maximum connection concurrent connection pool will be filled up and additional connection attempts will be denied. This is a software we can do. This is actually attacking software which we can use to send the request of HTTP to normal server, and it will send a lots of requests and never get the reply and not send the reply again. So server will exhausted with the only request, so it will fill with the maximum concurrent connection and it will not have any space remain for the other connections. Then the next technique is UDP flood attack. In this, attacker sends spoofed UDP packets at a very high packet rate to a remote host on a random ports of a target server using a large source IP range. And flooding of UDP packet causes servers to repeatedly check non-existing applications at the port. Now, legitimate applications are inaccessible by the system and gives the error reply with an ICMP destination unreachable packet. This attack consumes network resources and available bandwidth, exhausting the network until it goes offline. So it will do what attacker send the very high rate UDP request with the spoof packet. It is actually spoof with the remote spoof IP address and spoof port number. The port number, that means those services are not there on the server. It is only getting the request for those services. Now, because it is not TCP, it is not establishing the connection, server believe that they have this service and they try to access, they try to see, the server try to see whether they are having some services of this port or not. And because of the loss of request, the server resources get full and it can exhaust the available bandwidth or it can exhaust the network until it goes down. Just like the UDP flood, we have ICMP flood also. ICMP flood attack, in this network administrator uses this ICMP primarily for IP operation troubleshooting an error message of undeliverable packets. So when you try to check whether the machine is connected or not, we use the ping, and the ping send the echo request, and it goes with the ICMP protocol. So we use this to see the error and troubleshooting. Now, ICMP flood attack is a type of attack in which attackers send large volume of ICMP echo request packet to a victim system directly through the reflection network. So it can send the request directly or through the reflection networks also. This packet signals the victim system to reply, and the combination of traffic saturates the bandwidth of the victim network connection, causes it to be overwhelmed and subsequently stop responding to the legitimate TCP request. That means it is trying to exhaust the bandwidth. To protect against ICMP flood attack, set a threshold limit which, when exceed, invokes the ICMP flood attack protection feature. So it do what? It sends the request to the target, lots of ICMP echo request, and try to exhaust the resources of the server and network bandwidth. And to limit this or to protect this, we have to set the maximum limit for the ICMP echo request. That means in per second how much request we want to accept, and if it goes more than that, then it will go and use the security method. Then we have this ping of death. Now, ping of death attack, nowadays it is not possible to do this actually, but in old days it was very harmful attack. Now, ping of death means what? Attacker tries to crash or destabilize or freeze the targeted system or service by sending the malformed or oversized packet using a simple ping command. Actually, when we do send the ping, so based on the application or based on the operating system, it sends the size of the packet, echo request, size of the echo request. For example, this is my Windows machine. If I try to ping some IP, So you can see my machine is sending the ping request with 32 bytes of data. So the packet, the echo packet which my machine is sending, the size of that echo packet is 32 bytes. Now what attacker do in ping of death, it sends the data, it sends the ping echo request packet more than 70,000. That means the data will be more than 70,000 bytes. More than 70,000 bytes. That means when you ping some machine or any machine with this amount of data byte with the echo packet, then that machine will go into ping of death. That means it will not able to process that big packet of ping, and then what, it will go to ping of death. And what happen, it can go to crash, it can destabilize or freezes. But that means what, for instance the attacker do was sends a packet which has a size of more than 60,000, like 70,000 or more than 70,000, or at least 65,535 bytes to the target web server. This size of the packet exceeds the size limit prescribed by the RFC standard, and which is 65,535 bytes. And the assembly process by the receiving system might cause the system to crash. So in the receiving side of the target system, it is not able to process the packet, and it will do what? It will crashes the system. It may crash the system, destabilize or freeze the system. But nowadays we can't do this because no machine is supporting this amount of packet. You can't send this size of the packet from no machine, like not even from the Kali also. That means if I want to send the big packet, like for example, if you see, if you want to change the size, so there is L option to change the buffer size. So if I want to change the size, so I will say -L and I will say 65,538 size of the packet I want to send. Now what you see here, it says bad value for the option L, valid range is from 0 to 65,500. So they have disabled, every operating system has disabled this, that you can't ping, you can't send the packet more than this size, not even from the Kali Linux. Now here in the ping packet, the option is different for size, it is S. So if I try to use -S and 5,538 to try to ping some machine, okay, it is pinging it. Let's check the limit of this. I will go 67,000. It can also do this. Let's try 70,000. But it is not getting the reply. Now what happening here, I will try to ping it, but what is this machine is doing, this destination machine is doing what, it is not sending the reply. Actually those all the operating system do what, not even from Windows is not able to ping, but here I can ping this number of size, but actually I'm not getting the reply. Now why I'm not getting the reply, because this machine, this destination machine is not replying it, it is not processing this packet, it is directly denying it. So when the size goes more than this, so normal machines will do what, nowadays those machines will not reply to this packet. It is not like I'm not connected to this IP, I have connected to this IP and I'm getting the reply with the normal packet. But when I try to send the packet which is more than this size, then what, more than the recommended size by the RFC standard, it is not processing that packet and it is not responding that request because of the ping of death. It was very harmful in old days. It was very harmful attack, and it can do easily crash any system. So nowadays every system is what not replying to those packets and not even allow you to ping with that amount of packet. Then this Smurf attack do what? It is a tool called Smurf. We can use this tool to do what? To attack, and using the spoof IP address, using the spoof source IP address of the victim IP address, and send a large number of ICMP echo requests and to an IP broadcast network. That means what we'll do, we can do this Smurf attack, we can do this with the Smurf tool, which we can do what? Echo request, we can do ICMP attack. What we'll do here, we will send the request, echo request, to multiple different IPs, multiple different machines in the same network. But the attacker will use what? Source IP of the victim. Now these all machines will feel, they will feel that request is coming from this victim's machine, but it is actually coming from the attacker. Now what happened? The request goes to these multiple machines, but when these multiple machines replies, so all these replies goes to this victim machine at the same point. So it becomes what? A lots of reply to this victim machine, and then victim machine will do what? Its bandwidth is what? Consumed. So all the bandwidth of this victim machine will be consumed by these machines when they send the reply to this victim machine, knowing that this victim machine is sending the request, but actually sending the request, this request is sent by the attacker. Because it uses the source IP of this victim, replies goes to this victim. Distributed reflection and denial of service attack. Now in this technique, what that means, a distributed reflection denial of service attack, it also known as spoof attack, involves the use of multiple intermediary and secondary machines that contribute to the actual DDoS attack against the target machine or application. Now attacker launches this attack by sending requests to the intermediary host, and these requests are then redirected to the secondary machine, which in turn reflects the attack traffic to the target. Advantage of this is the primary target seems to be directly attacked by the secondary victim, not the actual attacker. And as a multiple intermediary victims, servers are used, which result into increase in the attack bandwidth. This is an example, like we can say the example of this Smurf attack. This is also, we can say, it is what? The distributed reflection denial of service attack. Here what is happening here, the attacker is sending the request to these intermediary victims, and these victims are trying to do what? Replying to this target. Now the target will see that these intermediary victims are replying, but actually it is coming from the attacker. So these are the different techniques of denial of service we have. And what is denial of service? It is simple to make the server or stop the server or prevent the server from providing the services.